Welcome back to Resorts World at Genting. 2017 has kicked off with a bang with ESL One high up in the mountains. We've got a brand new panel of members for you to dissect all of the games. Not for you to, pick on. We've got Jack, who's been doing nothing all day long, so we thought we'd drag him back here. Cap, who's done absolutely nothing all day long, except for maybe 3 series of the 3 we've done. And Malini is also back with us, who wants some energy. And I tried to give him some, but he didn't want it.
That was a bad joke.
Was it?
This is Paul's version of a joke. It's
I
hard
thought
to see
it
in the
was
light,
funny.
He wrote the word energy and then gave it to him.
See, I gave him energy right now in Twitch chat. Like, they're all giving us energy right now in Twitch chat. You know they are. Jack, I want to start with you. Our next matchup is Execration versus Wings. Now, yesterday, thanks, Ben. I've got energy from Ben now. Yesterday, you got into a bit of trouble, didn't you?
So I ran into Wings today, and they said, you know what? You weren't on the panel for the first game yesterday. We won. Last 2 games you were there, we lost, and then you predicted DC as well. So he said, you know what? Today, you better predict everything in favor of Execration.
Real valuable analyst on our desk.
Brilliant.
Wings.
Brilliant.
Don't need to see the draft. It's Wings.
Yeah, all the way through. We're going to start things off with Execration and talk about them. Fantastic return today after the, difficult day they had yesterday, Ben. So did you see enough from them today to suggest that maybe they can take out Wings? We spoke a little bit this morning about maybe WG could take out Wings if they got through. Can Execration now do it?
Yeah, I liked what I saw because it was a mixture of good draft and good play, that I think. The Silencer in particular in the Meepo game and the other one with their team fighting with the Luna. I think their early game needs a little bit of work, though. They always seem to fall a little bit far behind. What do you guys think? Is there strength and weaknesses?
No, I completely agree with that. I feel like their early game is definitely going to need some work. But then again, I guess Wings isn't a team that really needs to dominate the early game either. But maybe that's the secret to beating Wings, is getting really good control of the laning phase and being able to snowball off of that better.
How do you beat Wings, Jack?
Well, Wings has great.
Give us their secrets.
Well, all right. This is not much of a secret. They do not play Meepo, and then Execration is one of the teams.
They first banned it.
Yeah, but they first banned it twice yesterday
they
after they played it
DC.
against. I mean, they played DC against them and they beat them with it.
Right.
I think Cap has
Barely.
big views on that because they did play pretty much perfect and they had to beat it.
Yeah.
The respect for it, I guess, is that they then said, we're not playing that again. We don't want to do anything like that ever again. And they banned it twice in a row. So presumably they ban that again straight away here. Get rid of it.
I would expect to see that, yeah.
Does that put a bit more freedom for Execration, do you think, to start with?
I think it does. If you look at some of Execration's recent draft, they've banned a lot of heroes, like, for example, Luna, Legion Commander, some of these heroes. It's been a little bit predictable for them, but Wings doesn't necessarily use some of these heroes that you've seen Execration take out as much. So we're talking about Tinker, and we're talking about Legion Commander. These aren't things that Wings often plays. So that plus the Meepo maybe gives Execration a bit of an edge in the draft. And honestly, I don't think Wings understands this team very well, and you can't overlook anybody in this current Dota environment. So.
Do you think Wings is the kind of team who would just see everyone else and what they ban in the first 2 and just copy that? Do you think it's going to be Darkseer Omni just because, hey, we don't really understand them very well, so we'll just do what other people are doing?
It's certainly a possibility. They keep removing Shadow Demon first, but I think that's a good plan. If you don't know something about this team, show me something and make me adjust to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And in terms of Wings, where are they mentally? You've spoken to them. Are they all good? Are they all fine?
Well, some would have thought that there'd be a bit of pressure on them coming into this tournament. Looking ahead to Kiev, they don't have that many more opportunities to play on land. There's Starladder coming up next month. They're not going to Dota Pit, and so they kind of have to take advantage of this limited window of tournaments to be able to play. And there's nothing else really going on in China either because of Chinese New Year. And so, to some extent, some are saying you have to really prove yourself now. They've been saying that they're still pretty loose and they're enjoying the reset button and such, but they've got to start feeling the pressure now because TI is pretty far in the rear mirror at this point.
How high do you think they have to place in this tournament to get the invite?
Is it only going to be this one? Are they not going to take out? I think surely going to take out.
I think the qualifiers happen before they play another tournament after this.
Really?
There's Starladder at the end.
I think
but that's pretty much going to be it.
And Dota Pit as well, but they're not going.
Yeah, they're not.
So I think I would imagine they'd probably have to place quite highly then, wouldn't they?
Yeah, probably top 2. If they drop out here, I don't think they will get invited.
Yeah.
And that's been the biggest change for them this year is last year, as a relatively unknown team, they played in every qualifier. Team true grinders. They're in a different city from everybody else in China, so they're not maybe prone to the same distractions. This time, you win TI, you get invited to everything. Everyone loves you. Suddenly, everyone wants a piece of you. All this attention that didn't come before. They haven't had a chance to play that much, and they've had to drop out of a lot of events as well. WCA, DPL, domestically. So they just haven't had as much practice, as much time to gel. And so that could really hurt them going down the road.
I want to raise something around this topic because we've spoken about it at previous tournaments, Cap. It seems to be a pattern happening. And maybe this is another one of them, where we see these teams regularly invited, and then suddenly they fall off. Then they have to qualify, and then suddenly they're playing a ton of games all the time, playing qualifiers every night, everywhere around the world. It seems even when they go to a tournament, they're having to play a qualifier for something else while they're at the other tournament. Suddenly they come back to form, then they start getting more invites again. Because they're automatic.
That is part of the storyline, yes. If you think about like maybe Newbie, for example, like okay, absolutely fell off at a certain point in time, right? But I think it's also the other part of the story is that it's like a regular Game of Thrones every here. Like nobody's taken the throne for long, right? Everyone is looking for that, and they're fighting so hard for it. And whenever you achieve being the best, then everybody looks at you and goes like, okay, how do we beat these guys? What are they doing? What are they doing strategy-wise? What are they innovating that is allowing them to actually take leads and actually allow them to be the best teams out there? And I think those innovations, they're like these innovations, these teams work so hard to pick them up, and then they just get copycatted really quickly and figured out. So I think you just kind of always have to stay a step ahead. Wings, I think, we're pretty good at being able to figure out the meta to break it down at TI to a point where like no other team I think was even close to it. I personally approached that finals. I was like, the Wings is just going to destroy this, right? So
it's almost a surprise when DC won a game.
Yeah, so maybe 7.0 is good, right? Like we're going to get a fresh, fresh patch in, and this is an opportunity for Wings to be able to prove that they're innovators once again.
Okay, very quickly in one word, because I'm hearing that the teams are ready. Predictions time. Jack, on the spot, Wings or Execration? Remember the problem you have if you go the other way.
I'm going to honor the promise I made at lunch and go with Execration.
Okay. Cav?
Wings.
Love it. Ben, come on, something better? Oh.
Is that what you did?
That's so awkward.
I learned this from Slacks.
So awkward.
He was like, they hate me because every single time I saw them, I would just go like, Wings! Wah!
That's going to be gift, luckily for Cap. Thank you very much to our three panelists. We'll be back in a jiffy as we head over to the stage now to introduce you to our last two teams of the night.
Here we go, Malaysia. We have our final series of the night. You guys are amazing troopers. Let's get started with the hype, starting with our first team, Execration! Their opponents, the current TI champions. Let's give it up for Wings! To the stage! Here they are, waving up. That was a bird. All right, Wings Gaming having it set. Day 2, right here at ESL One Genting at the Arena of Stars. Your final series of the night. Wings Gaming, Execration, here we go!
Indeed we do. Our final series tonight, and the two teams will get themselves settled as we look forward to the draft. Jack, what are you expecting draft-wise?
Well, aside from the Meepo, Cap mentioned this interesting point about Execration struggling early game. For the rest of their playstyle, it seems that they do favor this kind of big team fight, kind of very conventional lineups that have some initiation and some team fight. And if that ends up being the case in this draft, I think that kind of plays into Wings' hands a little bit, because if they've had any weakness in the past, it might be in the laning phase. They take team fights extremely well. We've seen their great execution. That's probably the one thing they do better than anybody else. So if it ends up becoming that style of a game, I do think Wings has a pretty good chance.
Anything crazy coming out here, Ben? We've seen Wings in the past have a very deep hero pool. They know how to play plenty of these heroes. Are they going to dip back into that pool somewhere and pull something from somewhere else?
Someone was asking me earlier, why is Necrophos not picked? And I was like, why? Why, Cap? You're a Necrophos spammer.
I don't know.
You don't know?
They're noobs. Spammer. They don't know about it. They
Shadow-
forgot that it's actually in.
Shadow played it, not that long ago, but pretty long ago, when Necrophos was like nowhere to be seen.
I honestly think that the hero just hasn't been figured out completely yet. I think you like people are still experimenting with what role it actually fits into. I think it's definitely a core, but is it off lane? Is it mid? Is it safe lane? I think there's some versatility to it, but there's also item build that's pretty important that people haven't quite figured out. Do you get Rod of Atos? Do you get Eul's Scepter? Is Blade Mail a thing on that hero? There's a lot of question marks about what kind of role this hero is actually able to occupy and what kind of item builds to support it.
Potentially very strong as the meta evolves, though.
Potentially, yeah. I think part of the problem is that he isn't like that overwhelming like I'm going to ensure this kill on this hero. Like Juggernaut's been like super popular, and one of the big things he does is he provides you like this kill button with Omni Slash. He ensures like I'm absolutely going to kill you, and then he also provides this like really strong lane dominance. Necrophos doesn't offer you the same kind of power. He doesn't give you the instant kill button. You're reliant on other people's damage most of the time. He's kind of squishy and susceptible to pressure early on. I think most of the heroes that you're looking at right now are like, they're tanky heroes, and they're heroes that are like hard to gank, hard to kill. Like Lifestealer and Juggernaut are a great example of these heroes that have natural innate abilities that allow them to just be like really hard to gank. You don't actually, like the map feels a little bit more closed off when you're facing those heroes, because one lane is just like, do I really want to gank that? Do I really want to try ganking a Juggernaut? That just sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah, yesterday, Jack, they tried the Vision game, which we haven't seen an awful lot of teams try just yet, and they went Bounty and Beastmaster as well. Are we going to see something similar?
Well, they talked about that a little bit. It was kind of came back to the Omni Knight. You know, it was kind of like, is this like an NA thing or what? They got into the Omni Knight maybe a little bit more than they wanted to.
Is this an NA thing?
When you run strong lanes against a hero like Bounty Hunter, it could be an issue. And going back to the Necrophos that Cap was talking about, one of the questions that comes up is, where do you lane this Necro hero? If you put him in the mid lane, you kind of lose tempo, right? You usually want a playmaker there. If you run in the safe lane, maybe it feels like a bit too much to give him that many resources. If he's in the off lane, I mean, maybe he's more viable there now than ever before, but he's not an initiator, so he's not really a traditional off lane that you're seeing a lot of these teams run. So maybe there just isn't a home yet for Necro. Also, sometimes it takes a month or two for some of these big changes to come into the, like when we looked at Raindrops or Dragonlance and stuff, it took a few months for those to really get into it, even though those items were good at the start.
Yeah, I mean, look at the previous patch. It evolved all on its own without any updates at all. I mean, hardly minor ones, fixes and what have you, but it just evolved, didn't it? That's why it stuck around for so long.
I think if you want to talk about like potential pickups, I actually really liked Execration's Dragonite choice. I think that was like, I really think that hero is strong in this patch. I think he's got a lot more viability later on to the game than he used to, and he kind of fits the patch, I think, pretty well. He's able to put pressure on towers. He's a strong team fighter. He's a tanky hero that survives through burst as well. So if you think about like some of the heroes like Sand King, for example, like that Sand King is reliant on being able to use his epicenter to be able to get a lot of AoE damage and usually be able to get a numbers advantage off of that. But heroes like Dragonite are able to shrug off most of that damage and weather through the initial nukes.
So no Meepo ban.
Nope.
Important.
Yeah.
But they banned away the silencer,
Yeah.
which was very key for the Meepo, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was in one game.
And they left the Darkseer out there.
Yeah. Also left the Underlord there.
Omni Knight is pretty hard to play against. I don't blame them if they haven't played against it a lot.
I mean, we saw the way that I think Wings very clearly showed some inexperience in dealing with Omni Knight against DC.
Yeah, especially if you're counting on very precise rotations or damage to bring people down. Omni Knight just totally flips the script on that, and they obviously looked a bit underprepared for that yesterday.
Yeah, that is a specialty of Wings, right? Is that they seem to really have good reads on being able to save heroes as well as being able to finish heroes off. Like I think they have like very precise reads on when they're able to like lure the enemy team in and be able to like turn things around. I think that's one of the better things that Wings does as a team fighting team. When to turn. Well, Sand King's still out there, so I like this Rubik first pick. It's just a nice opener.
Yep.
Yeah, we talked about this yesterday. This hero just has
Very-
grown.
He's very popular.
He's the
now.
best first
Yeah.
pick.
Yeah. And he's not an obvious ban either, is he? There's no real point in banning him.
Some teams do,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Also, in terms of big old team fight, I mean, if you talk about, you saw Execration ran the Tidehunter early or something like that. Also gets added value if you pick up that Rubik early on against some of these big ones.
I don't think it's terribly surprising that the Darkseer was going to go the way of Execration, and Rubik does have value against that hero. Surge is a little bit harder to use. against telekinesis. So what do you get? Like Darkseer Spirit Breaker, Darkseer. They could go for. Do Execration do like Bounty Hunter or Riki at all? I don't think it was in their.
Oh, they do Crystal Maiden.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
don't
then.
like CM.
Why not? I think she's all right.
I think
She's passable.
I think she's all right.
I think
I
she's
can
all
agree
right,
with
but
that. She's all right.
What
and
better
they're-
support would you
and
pick?
They're
first
relegating her
phase?
into a second pick.
Like Spear Breaker, I don't like versus the Rubik, and then Riki and Bounty Hunter, I think they demanded like a very specific playstyle.
Sure, if you're not gonna combo up with the Darkseer, I think there are a lot of other like 5 positions that you can still open with. Like, I still think like Vengeful Spirit is pretty good in this patch. You could have gone for like the Shadow Demon still and tried to get some sort of combination.
Yeah,
you
I
could have
think
gone Mirana.
They like more
and
AoE
the
though.
Luminous.
Like a lot of their fights that we saw in
That's
the
true.
last series is mass AoE.
Yeah, we saw them pick the Wyvern very early as well, and that
Yep.
kind of goes with their team fight type of preference.
CM does have a lot of value for Darkseer, so you already have that synergy to start with.
Jog going over to Wings.
Same opener as VP.
Yep.
Can't go wrong with Rubik Juggernaut, I think. It's very solid. We can lane them anywhere, even dual lane, aggro lane.
Yeah, a lot of flexibility there. Not too bad against the Darkseer if you do have to put them in the safe lane. Obviously, you can play them mid as well.
Execration, last time they were faced up against a Juggernaut, they like hard focused trying to counter that hero with the Axe Wyvern. Obviously, they won't, like Wyvern or Axe don't really fit into this position, but I kind of hope they learned their lesson about Juggernaut. It's just like not a hero that you can focus too much on the draft, just because he can always get something done, no matter how well you draft against it. So better to focus on your own strategy, I think.
You can always try the newbie strategy of the Quap. They like that versus the Jug. Pressure him in lane a little bit, and you have pure damage to burst him down through Blade Fury.
You do most likely need a strong tempo controller because like CM is a bit questionable as a support and whether or not you're able to make successful rotations. I would love to see like an Earth Spirit going their way. I think that's a nice coupling hero. And then the Silence probably has some value against Rubik and Juggernaut here. And then you also can get a tempo controlling mid. I think those heroes are kind of a prerequisite. Unless you're going to play like super safe and conservative and just try and play really farm efficient, I think you need to try and get some action out of another core when you're running this Darkseer offlane because he's such a slow offlaner.
Jack, what do you think Wings has up their sleeve?
Well, they've been out the Shadow Fiend. I was going to say that seems like a pretty popular pick for them recently. Just looking at what the other team could go for, I think what you just mentioned with potentially something like a DK mid. So if that's the case, you could see Wings go a bit more aggressive, maybe try to take advantage of that laning discrepancy that we were talking about and try to force the tempo early on, because we have seen them do that a bit lately, kind of get this like early push and then fight and consolidate their advantage early on and try to end the game and force fights. And so I'm not sure if they're going to go that direction in this game.
What hero are we looking at for Faith? I think he plays
Sand King?
a different offlaner pool than normal. I think Sand King might invite a Meepo pick too. They really like the Meepo versus Sand King.
And Sand King's also
I'm surprised that
harder to
wasn't-
play against Darkseer.
I'm surprised that Meepo wasn't second phase banned. Or are they actually waiting for this?
It's
Are
not
they thinking,
necessary.
okay, we beat DC with it.
They used
were
Wyvern
strong.
Gyrocopter last time, and
Yeah.
I think it would be okay in their lineup right now if they wanted to also pick that up versus
And-
the Meepo.
And Wings will have the last pick here in the second phase, right? So they'll always
They
be
can
able to
count-
have
yeah.
a response before the 5th ban comes in.
Well, there's
Yeah,
a
if they
Spirit
haven't
Breaker
banned
we
it-
thought might come out at 2, comes at 3.
If they haven't banned it by now, they're probably okay with it, or they have a plan for dealing with it. And they did win against it after all. So.
Yep. I think best of 3 as well. First game, you might want to go, okay, let's find out then. Let's give it to them. I mean, Wings have done that a number of times to teams over the last 6 months.
Wings' safe lane is not secure though, and sometimes they like to run the 2-1-2, and I don't think they can just pair Rubik Juggernaut versus Darkseer Spirit Breaker. I think that's a losing situation for the Jug.
What's pretty good here is the Legion Commander that was routinely banned out in many of these matches. I think you can fit it into Wings' lineup here because Spirit Breaker is such a single target focus, and then you also have the Crystal Maiden Frostbite as well, and then it's a lockdown hero against Darkseer, which can have some value. I think in general it's just like it's also a nice coupling here with Juggernaut because even if you get a successful initiation, there's that counterplay, which Juggernaut is just going to be able to receive the press of the attack and then be able to pop his Q or even his Omni Slash immediately afterwards. It's also a tankier hero, and it's like we don't know what Execration's plan is going to be. Ooh. All right, well that's an answer to Meepo right there, right?
Yes.
I think
definitely
Wings
is.
were probably thinking about like if they do pick up Meepo, like
I think it's a Faith Magnus too. I think he usually
Yeah.
plays it.
Yeah, I've seen him play that more offlane than it's been mid for this team, so quite likely choice for him.
Do you think it's a Blink Jug or Shadow Jug?
I think they could still go either way. They're probably still waiting to see
Yeah.
more cards from Execration at this point.
There's not that many melee mids left, however, though, if they want to synergize with the Magnus, which I would see what they.
I think it's only necessary for the Juggernaut to synergize.
I think it's always nice, right? I think you just feel a lot stronger.
Get another,
But then again,
extra one in there.
Yeah.
Do you really want to run another melee hero against Darkseer, Spiritbreaker, and CM? All three of
I
those
think you can
heroes
run one that's like not true melee, like Ember Spirit, for example.
Oh yeah, that
Is kind of a good mid that synergizes well with Empower, but doesn't really suffer against the Ion Shell and the
Yeah.
Spiritbreaker.
It does give them some tempo as well. I mean, he likes to be extremely active, usually mid-game, secure some kills and get some map presence.
I don't think I've seen Blink play Ember though.
Yeah, it's not a hero that's frequently in this pool.
Yeah.
Certainly giving Execration something to think about. They've gone with the Marana.
That is something that is in this pool, so they might have just picked that to kind of take that away from Wings. There are other pseudo melees that might kind of fit these requirements as well. Maybe something like a PA. I'm not sure if that's in the cards here.
They can also do it in Invoker. I think Invoker's pretty good versus a Spiritbreaker. Like, you're not worried about getting charged. Also good for Darkseer, like we saw last game, and a combo well with the Magnus if they want to go for like a magic damage combination as opposed to a cleave with the Magnus.
There's still a Timbersaw as well, which has been a pretty popular staple for this team.
You'd imagine they might leave that till 5.
Blink looks pretty happy.
Yeah.
So I'm snickering a little
I
bit.
think it's going his way so far, in his mind.
Yeah, but he hasn't had his hero yet, so
No.
still have like.
And there's the Ember. Okay.
Yeah, I think that was a really good choice,
Yeah.
man. Well, I like what they have right now. I think their team fight's a little bit better. I think their late game's also a little bit better. I think their laning phase, however, is much weaker because of the Darkseer Spiritbreaker and then CM providing the aura. So
Oh, for sure.
yeah, I think that's the only thing they need to get past in this game.
So if Execration do have the laning phase and they do have some snowballing heroes, how's the best way to wrap up their lineup?
Generally, the silencer would be the best one. You like charge on the Ember Spirit, you silence right about as you're about to go in, and you just kind of combo them down with a vacuum. But I don't think they have a blanket ultimate like that to win them the team fight. That's kind of what they need, right? Like I think something to break apart the team fight for them.
And Naga?
Naga is tough because they have the 2 instant. The Ember Remnant and the Juggernaut Spin. You can't follow up after the song, so you need something else.
And Ember Spirit and Juggernaut are both pretty good at being able to deal with Naga Siren push.
Yeah.
So they have
Especially with
they have 3 cores that can all deal with the push in their own way. I think that's not much of a problem for them. I kind of feel like you need an aggressive hard kick. We're talking about a safe lane hero.
Yeah,
right,
they
for
need safe.
Execration.
Yeah.
You were thinking of like a carry silencer.
Yeah. Perhaps.
What were you thinking about?
What other things would be nice for them?
What's a good?
They need
launch?
something that takes objectives, I think.
Yeah, I mean it's either like you go hard late game, and that feels unlikely versus Jug, Ember, and Magnus. So Terrorblade is a pushing hero that's left, because Luna and Draw Ranger both got taken out by Execration themselves.
I don't think you want to push into that though. I think like pushing into Mag Ember. I think you need to take it like very very late with like anti-mage style, or you need to crush them in the team fights. Then you can take objectives.
I feel like most of the late game heroes though don't that you could pick up do not have the necessary lockdown to be able to deal with Juggernaut or Ember Spirit.
Yeah, that's true.
And the Underlord was still in there.
It's
And
a
been
nasty
picked up.
team fight.
Yeah, that is very nasty, isn't it? Underlord, Ember Spirit,
quite difficult.
Magnus, Jug, and Ruby.
Like Spiritbreaker cannot charge in. Like almost all the heroes can deal with the Spiritbreaker charge. They have to crush the landing phase, I think.
Yeah, Execration
Yeah.
backs against the wall here in draft. it's once again those situations where we're looking at that last carry and going, okay, if you pick the snowballing fighting hero, then you're just not going to have a lot of pushing power. If you pick up the more pushing style hero, then you're going into like one team fight could actually close out this game for you, because like one successful defense by Wings, you just start like falling off so quickly.
So do you think they should lean more towards early game or late game for the last pick? Either of you?
Morphling late game.
Morphling I would actually like a lot, I
The
think.
problem with that Underlord is even the better early game laners are really going to struggle against them, I think, especially if they send 2 people up there, if this isn't like some kind of jungle Magnus. It's gonna be pretty hard to deal with the Underlords.
They also banned the good early pushers too themselves, the Luna and the Drought Ranger. There's not that many other good safe laners that can push early, especially with the Juggernaut taken themselves.
What?
So instead we'll have the Invoker. Well, it worked with no one, but you heard him. He's the only one, he says. We're about to find out whether he is or not. Thank you very much to all 3 of you. We'll return back to our expert desk, of course, at the end of Game 1. Time now to send you over to our commentators. It's OD Pixel and Purge.
Thank you very much, Red Eye. Indeed, we're getting ready for this final series of the day. Execration up against the Wings Gaming. I'm OD Pixel, I'm here with Purge. We've just seen the draft. Indeed, as mentioned by Red, the Invoker picked up against the Ember. We saw it in the last series. Are Execration going to be able to pull it off? But at the same time, I kind of want to ask you about the Underlord, because I know you feel that this hero very strong against the Spirit Breaker.
Yeah, as soon as I saw the Underlord pick, I'm, Spirit Breaker, not so good. But at least they do have Iron Chill from the Darkseer, so in the laning stage at least, Spirit Breaker should be quite strong. I think that's a decent benefit at least. Other than that, they can dispel things like Flame Guard, Empower from Magnus. There's definitely some annoying things that they can do, but it's not going to be as one-sided for utility dispel as it was when MP played against VP.
We'll see here as we get stuck into the line, and kind of in overall draft terms, is there someone that you do feel has the stronger game plan here?
Well, Execration obviously is their late game. It's not looking nearly as good, so they're going to have to tempo really well for the 10 to 20 minute mark. But it's going to be a bit tough. I mean, a lot of that comes down to roaming from CM in a lot of cases. So I think the CM roaming impact could be huge, especially towards the mid lane with the Tornado as well. It should be a squishy Ember. He should take a lot of right clicks and very likely could go down.
So interesting note as well, obviously, with this kind of Underlord being played by Ice Ice, Faith Bian on the Magnus, what kind of lanes do you expect us to see from Wings?
I mean, it's really not weird at all to play 4-position Underlord, in my opinion. In some ways, it's better than the offlane because you can farm just as fast as you were if you were an offlane hero, but you're still a support, so you can roam around. It's not as effective as it was before when Pit of Malice had longer duration at level 1, but it's still effective as a 4-position. Maybe go places, push lanes, things like that. So I think it should be fine. They'll be able to afford a lot of wards, that's for sure, too.
Absolutely. Well, at the moment, in terms of contesting bounty runes, it looks like both sides to keep to their own. And the lanes as well from Execration by the looks of it. Nando is going to be sticking up on this top lane. Mirana being backed up by Chemos. It's Crystal Maiden. Mid lane, Gabby on the Invoker. And Owa, I mean, this Spirit Breaker, as you mentioned, obviously he's got to be a little bit worried about where the Underlord is across the map. Where's he got to be looking at the start to try and get that key beginning that we've been talking about across the day on this position and make sure he has that early impact?
Yeah, just dual offlane is the safest thing. He's got Orb of Venom and a Fairy Fire, so he's quite good at level 1. Especially the first creep wave here with double Iron Shell is a great time to actually try to go for a kill. Rubik is actually very weak level 1 in comparison to a lot of heroes, so I think this is a good moment to maybe go try to pressure the Rubik.
Already Wings playing very aggressive with a straight up Blade Fury and Telekinesis. Starting to assert their dominance, and already Execration, they're trying to capitalize on the fact that spells have already been used, pushing Innocence right back.
That was actually a really rare mistake there by DJ. He should have Iron Shelled the Spirit Breaker. As soon as they lifted the Darkseer, they could have gone on Innocence and probably killed him, or at least gotten him very, very low.
Very close indeed. Top lane, indeed, as you mentioned, Ice Ice is going to be sitting around close by to Faith Bian in this lane matchup. And, I mean, obviously, the off-lane Magnus, something that we believe are yet to see this lane. Very strong in lane against the Mirana. Do you feel this is a lane where both get farm? Anyone going to get pressured?
It should be fine here. Mirana's right click is very weak at level 1, and Ice Ice here with his passive Atrophy Aura should be able to reduce some of that damage. And normally, Magnus can't actually off-lane very well, but we've seen so few tri-lanes in this tournament so far, just because teams are trying to abuse dual lanes. So, ooh, very close damage there on Gabby.
Blink certainly getting aggressive in mid lane in terms of CS at the moment, so with the slight edge, but very, very close. 8 for 2, 7 for 0 between the two mid laners.
So what's actually really cool about what their mid laner is doing on Wings' side is he grabs Sleight of Fist instead of Flame Guard. So
Bottom lane, we are seeing that combo getting to work as you talked about, moving in with the double Iron Shell and the charge. They'll take the first kill, blade through from Shadow, bringing DJ relatively low, a good bash, and they could turn potentially. 559 for Owar, goes straight back in, and they pick up a second here on the bottom lane. And I mean, this combo Purge, it's pretty deadly if it gets it footing early long.
Yeah, this is one of the best dual off lanes in the game. It's just so consistently strong. Just disables two very tanky heroes, and Iron Shell is one of the best damage skills just for one skill point. So yeah, the Sleight of Fist on the mid lane, he's actually on 2 points too. He's just not even getting Flame Guard because he's seen, oh, you know, why would I get Flame Guard? You're just going to remove it, and then I have 4 skill points that are wasted.
I mean, I guess
instead, he's just gap closing and getting easy entangles.
We could be in trouble though, Lumic, with the wraparound, a charge in from Owar as well. Immediately moving across the mid lane, looking to punish Blink, and they'll get the kill. Execration making the movements here. Spirit Breaker certainly working out and helping to shut down the Ember. And kind of going on about, obviously, you saying changing the skill build because of the situation of the game. Are we going to see a different item build from the Ember, or will he still go for the magic?
That's an interesting question. I really don't know. I would say that the right-click damage build isn't very good against their heroes, but I think he still goes back for Flame Guard later. He's just going to have to be a little selective early game.
Nonetheless, even though he gets taken down in the mid lane, he's still keeping himself top of the board in the last hit department there, Blink. And the safe laners as well, looking at Jug, 16 for 2, up on top 11 for 5. So Magnus able to put the pressure on, and also finding a lot for this lane, Fabian. Kind of, as you suggested, with Ice dipping and diving in and out of the lane, it is making it hard for Nando to come out on top of the Magnus.
Yeah, he's doing his best, but just picked up a fast magic wand. Another charge coming on the bot lane.
See if they can turn this one around potentially with a Blade Fury and a Telekinesis, but DJ and Owar sticking around, trying to man fight. DJ at the last moment, surges out with the salve, a good bash from Owar. Shadow potentially in trouble, drops down the healing ward, is not going to be enough, and now, again with the charge, the aggression here from these two, just putting on so much pressure on this bottom lane, and it really seems that at the moment, Innocence and Shadow, they can't deal on their own with these two heroes.
It's very difficult. DJ played that perfectly, escaping at the right moment. And at the least, even if they're not getting kills out of this, it's still costing mana for the Juggernaut to go for these spin kills. So every little advantage like that will matter, and despite them doing a dual lane, they're getting equal levels as their opponents.
On top lane, Kimo coming in and helping out Nando to look for an attempt on a kill onto Ice. Because of the aura and such, he's incredibly tanky. It looks like they can't quite finish him off. Faith Bian's come across. Nando still continues to try and search for him. He's not going to be able to find him by the looks of it, as Ice gets himself back under the tower range. There'll be a charge onto Faith Bian, but indeed the Spirit Breaker's far too far away to continue on for that. So, I mean, we're seeing that just the power of the Underlord. This man's a bit of a beast.
Yep, it's Atrophy Ore and it's the Poor Man's Shield. It's reducing their damage, and then it's further damage blocking it. So it makes it very hard for them to do damage. We'll see if he gets more skill points than this. I don't think he should probably, but the 2 points in lane, it's fantastic. 1/5 of all damage done is just negated.
On mid lane, looks like we have got a charge coming in, looking in for the kill. Ember goes in aggressively with the Remnant, but taken down. Execration picking up a 5th kill. And I mean, so far, Owar's movements on the Spirit Breaker, they've been absolutely perfect. 5 minutes in, 5 kills on the board.
It's just the value that you get out of Spirit Breaker Darkseer. It's just so good. Because it doesn't even require Darkseer to leave his lane. You can just Iron Shell the Spirit Breaker, send him on his way to go do a really strong gank. And it's been getting a lot of pressure done. And while the Ember build is a little bit innovative, it's just not going to work here. And because at some point, it's still squishy Ember Spirit, and there's still a lot of nukes and damage coming towards him. It's like the best he can do is cast spells on his opponents, lowers his HP just a little, at least then, so there's a slightly lower chance of him dying. But they could get a kill here. He's going to have to use 3 Remnants, though, I think.
We'll see if he does go in for that attempt, Tibbling. He has got the backup, the wraparound coming in from Rubik. But Gabby, he's got the Obs Ward there on the sideline, so he knows exactly what's going on, so he should be able to play this around. Not if he gets caught out by the changes. Okay, Tornado and EMP nicely holding back Innocence, making sure he can't follow through for the kill. And Gabby, he might even find Blink. He used all the Remnants aggressively to try and get the kill onto Gabby, and with Kimo wrapping around as well, they're going to lose the life of the Ember. Execration outplaying the aggressive attempt there from Blink. And bottom lane as well, it looks like there could be a bit more trouble for the side as a charge comes through from Owar. DJ as well with the Iron Shells, bringing Shadow down low, and they'll take him out. Innocence TP's across, but Owar, he's ready to potentially man up. Okay, the issue's now turned up. Ice into the lane, making sure that they don't get anything more. But once again, Execration, 6.5 minutes in, 7-0. They are shaking Wings the hell up.
Yeah, they're doing a great job. That ward changed everything there just because it allowed Gabby to land the perfect tornado. It was a great setup by Wings, but because the tornado lifted the Rubik, the Invoker gets away, and he's able to just kill the Ember Spirit. Ember needs Flame Guard to do a lot of damage. Otherwise, he's just sitting on pretty much a regular nuke, so very reliant on other heroes to actually get kills.
Yeah, it really is going to be interesting to see how Blink can kind of move forward from this early game start, which is already proving to be quite a bit of an issue here in the mid lane. Gabby's certainly getting the gold, getting the XP that he needs, with a good level advantage and such. And I mean, what is the kind of solution to this? We saw Wings obviously try and bring Innocence in to try for a kill. Do they still have to continue trying to make attempts at ganking this Invoker, or do they just have to look elsewhere?
A kill occasionally is certainly a great option, just because it can really negate a lot of the advantage that Invoker has. But it's difficult to do so, especially with the slightly greedy forward they had. With Underlord, great at farming and all, but he's not so good at ganking. And he doesn't really impact that much heavily damage-wise anymore because of the Pit of Malice nerfs. So it's going to be a bit tough. It's going to take a lot of Fire Remnants pretty much every time he wants to get a kill.
Bottom lane, may have to be a little bit careful again. Wings, DJ, and Chemo at the moment. Setting up base down there. Mid lane, OWAR kind of hanging around, maybe seeing if Blink is tempted to go in aggressively on Gabby and to be there ready with the counterplay. And also I believe probably very close to picking up that 6 indeed, already 2/3 of the way through level 5, so the Nether Strike soon to be online for this roaming Spirit Breaker. And at that point, just the ganks and the kill potential is going to get even higher. Mid lane, Gabby making a bit of a go here. On to Blink. He throws out a Remnant, but he's already lost all of his mana here. And Gabby, he's going forward here with the cold snap. A couple more touches, might be able to, can't quite do it. Verify, is that going to keep him alive? But with the Ghost Walk, he'll juke out the hit. So Gabby plays aggressive, doesn't get the kill, but he doesn't get himself killed either.
That was a little close. It cost him about 200 mana to use the Ghost Walk, but it's fine. He's got a CM. And CM's very leveled as well, rotating down to the bot lane.
Oh, look at this bottom. With the Moonlight Shadow to set up them. Try and make sure there's no chance for the Blade Fury, but quick reactions there from Shadow will mean that he gets himself away, life intact from this 3-man gank.
That was a hard one, by all means. That would have been difficult. They had to get the charge off and then do a ton of magic damage to get him very low. Jug very survivable against Iron Shell stuff, so I think he's in a good spot. But Wings continues to be greedy, basically. Just AFK jungling Ice on the Underlord, the Magnus as well, just spending a lot of time farming. But once he gets a couple more levels here, and he's going to start putting Empower on the Jug, he's going to be able to catch up. So as long as Wings doesn't keep getting completely ganked, like out of control, then they should be fine here.
Yeah, this could be nice as well. A bit of a smoke action from Wings as Blink and Innocence coming around towards the top lane. Nando would be a nice kill. There we have the setup with the pit into the chains, remnanting forward with more than enough burst to take down Nando.
That was so cool. They threw the Pit of Malice, disabled for 0.9 seconds, and then he got Syrian changed. And by the time the chains was over, the Pit of Malice re-triggered again. That was really interesting. That's a really solid gank against Mirana. She's not able to leap anymore due to the roots, so a huge experience gain going towards Wings. And now they can pressure the tower too. Yeah,
a really nice play as well, because considering the way that the mid lane was going for Blink, they needed to make some positive action happen with the Ember's involvement. And that's exactly what they were able to do there.
Yeah, it's a lot safer than just laning against an Invoker. And in the meantime, they just put Faith Beyond on the mid lane. He spams out a couple shockwaves, and any kind of counter push that Execration wants to do, they just can't do.
Already, TP's up towards the top lane. Execration maybe looking to try and catch them off guard, but a nice scan indeed, yeah. They know what's up on Wings. How are they going to react? They start to back off. I'm going to get the lock-in onto Gabby holding her back. Ice tried for the TP out, but the charge connects just in time. Looks like Ice, maybe the one left for dead here, will throw out a Firestorm, but they will take the kill. Execration. So even though it was scanned out, just not quick enough there with the reaction to get everyone out back to safety.
He did a lot of raindrop damage there. Did you see that? That was like 3. That's worth at least 50 gold.
It is.
Better than nothing. They're going to heal up here. Faith Beyond is got 2 points in Empower here. It's actually very good on Ember Spirit, really. I mean, he could go the damage build. He's picking up an Aquila here. We haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen somebody doing pubs. There's a tornado.
Top lane as well. Innocence trying to set up onto Gabby. Faith Beyond moving into position for a potential RP. Tries to go over with the cold snap just in time. Cancelling any chance of this one. Looks like they'll be forced back. Shadows come forward with a Blade Fury, really wanting to try and do something. There was one sentry popped down earlier, but no vision kind of this further out on the map. They'll pop down another, but already Execration kind of out of the range. Gabby's still too close though. He'll get caught out. DJ came back in, takes an Omni Slash, but DJ will not fall down. He survives. Frostbite into the ultimate from Chemo, bringing Shadow down. They'll take down the Juggernaut. They have lost the Invoker, but it looks like Execration may find more potentially. Blink comes forward, Chemo immediately with a Frostbite. Nando held back by the telekinesis from Innocent, but they're not done yet. Execration charging forward. Good chains. Holds back the Breaker just before he gets the bash. He goes back in Blink, but the vacuum, the damage is too much. Execration chased out Blink. Fabian trying to come back in with the skewer. The
So
shot
low.
They're so damn low. He'll find a one on the Spirit Breaker. Can he actually get anything more out of this one? Nando throws the arrow across. He's going to get the vision. He knows that they're looking for him. They're already TP out one. Chemo playing around with Ice Ice. He could be in trouble. Nando in the trees. Ice Ice will chop down onto Chemo. And Nando looks like he'll be safe as it. For the time being, they won't dive any deeper.
Oh, Wings get some kills eventually there. Everybody was getting repeatedly low, but really sick plays there by Execration. Especially the Juggernaut forcing Omni Slash on the Darkseer. Darkseer stays alive. They kill him as he retreats with the CM ulti. Just consistently Wings thinking a step ahead. But only get some kills. The tower dying is pretty big though at this point. Keep in mind that Execration doesn't really have the best late game farmers. And while they are farming well on some of their cores, they're not stupidly ahead.
Mid lane, Shadow has to be very careful here. FOMO gets the vision for the charge and really giving it to him, but he's being careful. There'll be a scan just to see if there's anything more behind Shadow, but it doesn't only catch Shadow, so it doesn't give them too much information. They'll lay down a ward. And it looks like they'll decide to play it safe, back up and move towards the bottom lane. Try and claim another tier 1 from the half of Wings' map.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Getting pretty close to mech as well in Underlord. And again, this is a support, and we're 13 minutes in, he's almost got it picked up. It's a huge advantage. And there's a Blink Dagger on Faith Beyond and about 50 gold. All of this greediness has finally paid off. Like they lost their mid tier 1, and there's some really good deep wards from Execration, but that's about it. Other than that, I think they're sitting okay.
I think we've already kind of mentioned the power of the Pit Malice when comboed with certain skills, or obviously kind of an RP into the pit. That is a lot of disable. And more than enough time for an empowered Jug to just chop through an entire team.
Basically, anybody on Wings' side would love to right-click. Works with everyone.
Yeah, that's true, actually, yeah. An empowered Underlord with the aura kind of after a fight.
You kill the 5 enemy heroes, you get plus 200 damage, and then you farm creeps really fast with Empower.
It's going to be messy. Our Wings here. Smoking up, moving up aggressively. Gabby's position will take down the smoke here. They'll put down an Ops ward and they get the chain slash. Immediately jump forward from Fabian, looking for Gabby here. Can he get himself out of this one? No, he can't. There'll be an RP to secure the kill. They'll make sure they take the one. Oh, they're stuck on the cliff. And Chemo there with the ultimate, raining down the icy balls of hell.
DJ, man.
Oh,
what a play.
What a Darkseer.
And there was just the CM casting Freezing Field on the same. And they spent so many spells to guarantee the Invoker kill. They got him, but that vacuum just turned things around. What a sick play.
Absolutely beautiful. I mean, as you mentioned, DJ, pretty much the entire game so far, he's been playing it perfectly. The aggression down on the bottom and these kind of counter plays to Wings' attempts to jump in and try and get stuck in fights. It's been absolutely fantastic. 13 for 5 at the moment. Execration, certainly with the lead coming out of this early stages. But Wings had the potential to turn. We saw there obviously kind of the reveal of the blink. It wasn't what Wings wanted, but throughout the entirety of the game, Execration have always got to be scared of that blink RP.
Yeah, it's pretty worrying here. Ice looking. Oh, they're going to fight.
Yeah, they're ready to dive in. Nando just jumped straight past the tower. Fatebound will be there with the skew and the shockwave. The Fate Bolt from Innocence takes him down, and they're not done yet. Wings jumping forward for more blink. Remnants in, chains onto Chemo as well. There'll be a wall and a vacuum. DJ trying to hold back the side of Wings, but Shadow moves forward with the Blade Fury to Telekinesis. They drag DJ back in. They'll find the Rubik. They'll turn towards a third kill here as Wings finally finding the team fight that they needed. Execration maybe just getting a bit ahead of themselves there with that dive beyond the tower. Gabby still in potential trouble. DP on cooldown for 12 seconds. Wings, are they going to continue looking at it? It doesn't look like they are, so Gabby may be lucky enough to hang around and wait for the cooldown to come off. But very aggressive attempt there from Execration, diving the tier 1.
Yeah, they arrowed through. They saw that Underlord was by himself. They thought maybe we can jump on and blow him up fast, but the TPs were instant from Wings. And the other part is that Underlord already has his mech, so not only does he have 1300 HP, it's more like 1600.
I mean, just look at this. Just the chains into the pit. You are not going anywhere.
It's just such good disable, and really good 5-man here as well. And now all of a sudden, Wings is feeling really far ahead. Even though the net worths are still looking very good for Execration, they've got to be really worried right now, because even a fantastic vacuum ult didn't do that much. And that's even, Ember Spirit doesn't even have items yet. He's got like a wand and an aqua, that's it.
under attack.
They're making it work.
Dire's bottom
Certainly
tower
aren't
has
already.
fallen.
Moving across the mid lane, they've taken down bottom. With the quick Dark Rift, they'll make sure to
Dire's middle tower
transcend it
is
into a
under
quick tower push as well.
attack. Dire's
Wings
middle tower
making
has
the
fallen.
action happen on the map. And Execration have to be careful about fighting into this because RP is available. And Omnislash as well.
And think about where we were like 3 minutes ago. Game's completely changed. It's like 4 dead towers. It's a good EMP at least. But it's only going to really nail the Underlord, so.
Yeah, understandable why Execration are a little bit more timid about the way that they jump into these fights after the last few have gone, because as you said, really just allowing the game to be shook right up and Wings to get themselves back in a very, very good looking position.
And Nando was doing his best to push out the top lane. He's got Ags at a pretty good timing, 17 minutes. Certainly will be useful. I am unsure it's going to be enough, though. I mean, Ice Ice is doing a great job just counter pushing. It's one of the biggest benefits of Underlord. It's just so safe to cast Firestorm. Whole creep wave is dead. Damages heroes a lot as well. But he's just going to keep farming. And at some point, he's going to have a pipe as well. Pipe's going to offset a lot of the magic damage that Execration's doing.
DJ and Gabby potentially ready to just continue on putting a bit of pressure on this tier 1 and finish it off. It's very low mid lane. OWA with his eyes onto Shadow. Kind of playing around with her, teasing with the ultimate there. And won't commit. Shadow has got backup as well, so it could be a questionable decision if Execration do go in on the jug. Bottom lane, those spaces created. They'll finish off the tier 1. And OWA already now with the charge onto Faith Bian. Execration are trying to move over to help him, but it looks like Faith Bian able to back up far enough that the OWA is held back from continuing on the charge.
Yeah, he's fine. He's got a skewer if things get really bad. He's been collecting a lot of farm.
And do you like this decision as well, just going straight for the BKB to blink?
It's so safe, and it's kind of something that they need. I mean, if he jumps in and there's an EMP, or he gets caught by a tornado as he blinks in, very common that happens during team fights. So if he just grabs BKB, instantly gets the RP that he wants, and that kind of just changes everything. Because as soon as you RP and collect everybody, and you have an Ember Spirit that's empowered, or even like a Jug with Omnislash who's empowered, those whoever's got the RP, they're just going to get shredded right away. And that's what they're aiming for here. Invoker would be a great grab.
Indeed, yeah, straight in with the RP, no messing. They screw him back into the pit. Omnislash thrown down as well. Making sure there's no chance for Gabby's escape, and they're not done yet. They jump forward. Remnant and Change from Blink to lock down OWA. A shockwave to the face from Faith Bian as they pick up a second after that smoke movement. Now they'll move in for the tier 2. Wings now 11 for 13. They really have climbed back from what looked to be a bit of a sketchy early game. And now, if you're Execration, I mean, kind of as we've already been thinking, what do you do as this side? How do you counter the way that Wings are playing and performing?
I mean, their laning stage was so good, but now it comes down to their team fights not being nearly as strong. I'm not really sure what the best solution is. Maybe Darkseer needed to go for a mech instead of a Helm of the Dominator. That way those early engagements were a little bit more favored towards Execration, but it's just so difficult to win advantage against heroes like Magnus and Underlord and Ember Spirit. They can constantly pressure and engage and punish Execration a lot better than Execration can punish them in return.
Ice Ice as well with his build. Looks like he's going for the Force Staff next. Do you like this decision?
It's pretty good. You can force back somebody that gets arrowed, for example. You can get it outside of EMP, yourself or an ally if really needed. There's some decent solutions with it. Something like a Vlad's or a Pipe would be also good, but I think just a simple Force Staff this early can make a huge difference. Because that could be like 1 or 2 less deaths for Juggernaut or Ember Spirit in the early game. That'll really add up by the end.
Looking at some of the items queued up as well over on the side of Execration. It's going to be the Midas, picked up by OWA, and also Chemo on the CM going for the Midas as well. So is this just a way that you could kind of look to drag the game out, kind of accepting that you've lost this time of the game?
No. I mean, well, yeah, maybe they're not looking amazing right now, but the levels can compensate for some other things. Is 2,000 gold really going to change a fight right now? And the answer is probably not. For CM, it could. I think things like Blink Dagger can be really amazing and change a lot, but I think it basically just comes down to like vacuum combos. That's kind of the best thing that Execration has going for them, but the issue is they don't really have stuns on top of that, unless you do like vacuum with the Centaur maybe, but I don't know. It's a tough game for Execration. Their team fight, their laning advantage was amazing, but ever since then, they're not getting as many towers as Wings is. So
Going to have a look at trying to make something happen onto the bottom lane, but Blink actually juking out the initial charge there with the Slight Fist. They'll get the Nether Strike, will drop down as well, but they haven't got the damage to finish him off by the looks of it. Blink and Ice Ice just sticking around, turning straight back onto the Spirit Breaker, forcing Owa to back off. An arrow will fly through. A good connection as well from Nando. They take down one. Ice Ice did try for a Dark Rift, but no way the time was going to be there to save his teammate. As Blink to fall, and Execration finding a pick-off that they certainly needed.
Yeah, it worked out very nicely for them because it was just a whoop. Ooh. He's dying really fast.
Just that. There's no holding back from Wings. They go straight in with an RP opportunity, even on one here at this stage. Fabian starting to empower up the side. DJ has moved into the front lines of this. Chemo will hold one back with the Frostbite. DJ himself falling incredibly low. The damage, of course, coming out for these empowered heroes, absolutely massive. DJ tries to get away, only just escaped. They're going to go back in. Chemo with the freezing field. They'll punish the player, Faith Bian, and now they're looking for more. Shadow sticking around with the Blade Fury. Can OR find a flash for it? He can't. Shadow's able to TP out. Innocence with the quick Fade Bolt back in there to take down the life of OR. And now with the telekinesis still playing around with Nando. But he has got to be careful, Innocence. 3 heroes still around. He'll head into the trees. His TP still on cooldown for 10 seconds. And
does he see him now?
He's got the stolen leap.
He may have leapt in division there. Well, it doesn't look like
it did look close, didn't it? Yeah, with the arrow flying past.
And interesting item build so far by Blink. He goes for BOTs there. They actually do break it, prevent him from TPing in. But that as well as the Yasha. I think the Yasha is going to be for a Manta style to counteract what Invoker's going to do with his Orchid, but it'll be okay. It's kind of synergistic with Empower, just because you're going to get a little bit more value from the plus damage, but definitely not the most ideal Ember Spirit build that we've seen. It's very forced into it, though, based on the heroes.
I mean, at this stage as well, we've obviously just seen Wings diving the tier 3 with the RP Solon Invoker, just playing very aggressively. But as you kind of mentioned off the back of the draft, they do potentially, on paper, have the better late game. So do you think Wings can kind of settle down, get a bit more farm on the Ember Spirit, or do they need to keep this tempo up?
I mean, it's. I don't even look at it as tempo. I look at it as it's a Midas. RP and Omni Slash, they're Midas. You RP the Invoker and keep killing him. Gold gain for you, gold loss for him. That's what they're looking at it as. If they just turn 2 small ultimates, maybe small is the wrong word, but they're winning the game, turn them into an occasional kill on the most farm tier on the enemy team, that's going to eventually put you into an uncontrollable area where you just don't lose.
Yeah, it certainly seems as well with those cooldowns, it's not really like Execration at the moment, like there's no RP, let's go for a play, because they themselves, they realize they need a little bit more before they're able to stand toe-to-toe with Wings. Nice trying to catch Nando there with a pit, but Nando quick on the fingers and out of danger. They will start to head towards the top lane. Both Chemo and DJ in the neighborhood.
Yeah, I mean, Execration's circumstances are very situational. It requires Wings ideally to be a bit spread out, or for them to get a great disable chain and nuke chain on a hero that's not expecting it. Because they have pretty good burst damage right now, but that's about the extent of what they have. Great lockdown, pretty good team fight, good damage if they're out of position. That's about it. So CM going to go for a Glimmer Cape next. Her ultimates have been very useful so far. Nando's got great damage as well, but past that, I guess they have Orchid on Invoker at least. He's looking for a solo kill right now. Might actually run into the whole enemy team. But
this could be big. We'll see how.
There was a break.
Yeah, Breaker there on the front lines. Toying with the RP, realizes he doesn't need it for this kill. Holds back on that one. So they'll take the Spirit Breaker, and Faith Bian still.
We'll see a Curse snipe at least, but oh.
Gabby gets that. But Wings, in return, not only just the kill, but also at this stage of the game, taking down the second shrine from the side of Execration.
And the gold advantage continues. So it looks like Guardian Grief's next for Underlord. I'd love to see Vlad's pipe next. Pretty useful. Maybe not Vlad's, maybe that's not too needed, but definitely a pipe.
Blink as well. Has got eyes on him, but immediately remnants away. And just in time as well as Gabby and Nando were on the hunt for him up on the top lane.
That definitely could have been a kill. I don't know if the arrow spooked him or not, or if it was just the creeps dying when they died, but certainly could have been a dead Ember.
I mean, all things said and done, of course, whilst this has been going on, Nando certainly keeping up with the pace of the farm. We're seeing with nearly 3.8k gold in the bank on top of the Ags. I guess once he gets that E-Blade, there's... who is he looking to burst down? I mean, there's fairly tanky heroes, I guess, on the side. And with the Flame Guard as well, it's maybe not that easy to get these kills.
Yeah, it's absolutely not. I mean, Ember Spirit's total HP is not that high, but even like Rubik is a little hard to kill. He's got a Glimmer Cape here. Underlord has a stupid amount of survivability. Sometimes Jug is a great option though. He's quite tanky right now, but you can either force him to spin or try to nuke him after he's spun. But I don't think it's going to be quite as easy for pickoffs. For fights, it'll be very useful, certainly. Or maybe if he combos with the Invoker on an Orchided hero, that could definitely provide kills.
I guess as well, because the Jug's going from Manta into Skadi, no Diffusal, there's always the potential to save heroes from the Omni Slash, from Shadow as well.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Good work. There's still a lot of magic damage from Wings, though.
Yeah.
It's not too one-dimensional. So they do know their Roshi, and they could... Yeah, they're actually going to approach here.
Well, they're going to go for the charge. They want to try and contest this one. Immediately looking to go in onto Ice Eyes. Another strike as well, controlling Faith Pian. Nice tornado. EMP as well coming through. Faith Pian plus the BKB. Trying to get into position here. He's going to be fast. Gets a good steal onto 2. There's the RP. Holding back both the Darkseer and the CM out of this fight. Can the rest of the team go to work though? Nando's on the chase of Ice Ice. Only the CM to die as of yet. They're still trying to finish off that Underlord towards the top. Back towards the pit. Wings will find a second. There'll be a buyback from Kima on the CM. Trying to get himself back and involved in the fight here. DJ and Nando on the retreat. So as it stands, a 2-for-2. Execration with the buyback coming out from themselves as well. So I imagine certainly puts them at the gold deficit. Roshan's still alive. Very low. Wings, of course, have the luxury of having their shrine, whereas obviously Execration, they've lost theirs. So Wings now back up to full health, full mana. They should look to continue to control this, but they do not have the numbers advantage though. DJ with the vacuum. EMP laid down as well to force Wings to split. And the EMP will catch onto Blink, so now Blink entirely out of mana. This Jug's trying to go in, has the Manta to remove the silence from the Orchid, but now Shadow has to be careful, falling down low. Healing Ward is out. Nando jumps forward, looks to finish off Faith Bian. There's the Blink, there's the Starstorm, they'll find that. Blink turns around, and with a deafening blast, they have lost another Sunstrike coming straight down in return. Gabby, can he get out of this one? No, he can't. A crit from Shadow takes him out. DJ to fall as well. He goes for the Nether Strike, but the Glimmer Cape from Innocence keeping Shadow alive, and they'll just chase down the Spirit Breaker as well. Change the empowered crits from Shadow, cutting through Execration, and a celebratory leap from Innocence as they well and truly smash Execration around the pit. Wings head back in, will finish off Roche, get themselves the... Ooh.
Yeah, he's going to have to get this one. The taunting Dark Rift. It was such a close fight there. Execration almost won in so many ways, and I'm just sitting here looking at Midas's. I'm thinking if CM had a Glimmer Cape, if Spirit Breaker had a Glimmer Cape or a Force Staff or something, we would have seen way more impact out of all of their heroes. And instead, not only does Wings get Roche here, but there's been like 3 buybacks now in Execration. 2 buybacks.
I think
that makes a huge impact.
It's a little worrying as well, because I keep seeing over on the desk, a lot of these Midas is on cooldown each time that they go down Execration, so value certainly being lost from the side.
And it's not even about that value right now, because that's going to take like, it takes like 10 minutes for your Midas to pay off, gold-wise. So yeah, you get some levels out of it, but honestly, a survivability item here or there turns that close fight into a 1 game for Execration. Because once the big teamfight ultimates were down, all they had to do is keep playing around double Starstorms. You do that enough times, and Wings is easily burstable.
Wings looking even more deadly now. There's a Manta complete on Blink. He's going to be even harder to be locked down by the side of Execration. A lot of it is kind of, you mentioned it, lack of stuns. They've got a root, they've got a silence. That's not going to mean much when there's a Manta in the hands of both of the cores of Wings. And also Shadowblade picked up from Faith Bian as well. So Execration have to be even extra careful in the way so that they approach these fights, because that Shadowblade into RP could certainly catch them off guard.
It was honestly a great fight. The disabled Magnus at the start did tons of AoE damage. Gotta aim for some mana drain here.
Shadow straight in.
That was actually a big snipe, getting the Alpha.
It takes away a
60
good
damage
chunk,
or something. Yeah, it's a lot. I can't tell you exactly how much. I'll have to mouse it over 1 second.
Do the mass purge.
That was a flame, if you didn't catch it.
A flame?
Valve flame, dude.
Oh, a Valve flame.
Yeah.
Don't flame Valve purge.
They deserve that one.
There we go, Wings. Still remaining solid on the Execration side of the map. They're getting some good wards down as well. Already 3 observer wards over on Execration's side. And as we can see, really, Execration very scared about leaving the base at this stage. Back up on the high ground. They're very aware that the Wings just have this huge potential to jump in and look for fights.
And they push really fast with Empower. I mean, Jug is one of the best melee sieging heroes just because he can BKB himself. He can drop healing ward. He's got Manta style, and he's got bonus damage from the mag, so he just kills towers really fast. And he's backed up by Guardian Greaves and other things too.
Now they'll put a sentry down just in case there was a high ground observer ward from Wings. I know they haven't put one down yet inside the base. As, for the time being, Faithian is going to have to wait for the wave to push in or go for some sort of blind initiation and also attempt for something big. Shadow back in again. Wings making sure that they don't go too cocky here with this push.
They could poke him a bit. They still have E-Blade, so every time he uses spin, he's going to have to wait until it's almost up again, like this. Oh, that's...
Taking a straight out. He does have the Aegis. Faithian immediately comes in with the skewer to take Nando out. A tornado thrown in immediately to try and break up the fight and help Nando get out of there. Nando looks like he will be able to retreat in safety. Oh no, Blink's actually jumped in aggressively trying to finish this off, but the speed there from the surge and the Moonlight Shadow allowing Nando to get out to safety. So no one to fall. Shadow remains on the mid, continues to apply pressure. They'll shrine up Execration. RP is still there for Faithian though, so Execration have to be careful about how close they come to defending this push.
They're just keeping them as far away as they can, and it's working. Melee Barracks is almost down.
Just with this pit, with the sleight of fist interchange. It's a long range disable. It's quick change to hold back the charge from OR. Lift it up. There's a vacuum. There's no real follow-up for now. They'll now get out the Deafening Blast, but the BKB's already come out from Faithian. Goes in with the skewer, has the RP onto 2, Invoker's out, and so's the Darkseer. DJ to fall. And Wings, they'll finish off the rest of the racks. Nando's jumped in, gets rooted immediately by the pit. Will still be able to escape, and Ice.
We cancel the...
Yeah, he's going to hold it on. They want to go for more here. They realize that with 2 down, they've got the chance to do serious damage to the base of Execration, and both of these heroes without buyback available, this is looking pretty painful for them, Purge.
It's very difficult for them to get them low, and with Guardian Greaves as well as the healing ward, they're just always full on HP. There's not enough shrines in the base to actually solve this issue.
They're not done yet. They're taken 2. They're going to look for a 3rd. Wings, no stopping this aggression, and no reason to. With just 3 heroes alive on the side of Execration, they will almost certainly have to deal with the mega creeps. As Wings clean up the base in Execration, they know that they can't hold against that. It's GG, well played, and Wings, really, really solid execution coming out of a bit of a rough laning stage, Purge.
Yeah, a bit of a rough lane. It was 0-7 at the start of the game. I don't know if you noticed that, but they had 2 AFK junglers, basically. Underlord, fantastic at rotating between jungle and off lane. They had Magnus getting tons of farm, was top net worth at various points of the game. But at some point, it was just a couple bad team fights that should have gone well for Execration, but they did fall flat. The biggest one, definitely the Roche fight. You know, if they get a big advantage from that, they can snowball it into a little bit more, into a little bit more, into a little bit more, and eventually win the game.
Very, very interesting stuff, and just lots of bits for the panel to pick apart after the break. This kind of change of the Ember, reacting to the picks from the side of Execration, trying to run this Invoker counter. Didn't work out this time, but that's game 1, ladies and gentlemen. Wings Gaming taking the lead. Don't go anywhere, though, because we'll be right back after this short break.